take us through the moment that Jessie put you in New York on the hit list. You both epically went off on him, by the way, but were you shocked by his betrayal, especially because you were friends during the competition? Did you think Jessie was going to name Wes or someone else?
You know, it's so funny because what they didn't show you right before we went into the nominations hit list, the hit list nominations, I pulled Jesse to the side and I asked him, "Do you know what you're gonna do? Like, what do you like? I want to see, I want to get an idea." And he looked at me and said, after the night before, he said, I wasn't going up. He looked at me and said, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, you have to see it from my point of view. And in that moment, I already knew. I said, okay, you're going to put me up. You're going to betray me. You're going to put me up. But again, I'm having faith. So when we walked into the banishment, into the hit list nomination, he put New York up, made sense. New York had stirred some drama, and I had a feeling he was going to put West because I just told you about the letter, the fake letter that West has. Although he was upset because he thought I was lying to him, which let me just say this. I didn't lie to Jesse about the letter. I just didn't tell Jesse about the letter. That's not lying. Um, but once he said my name at that moment, I was hurt, mainly because one, I was betrayed. Yes, we were in alliance, but we were genuine friends.
Yeah.
So in that moment, I was like, oh, ouch, okay. And I already knew me being up on the hit list, I'm not coming back from that. I knew I was the biggest competitor in there. I knew everyone knew that if I made it to the end, I was going to win. So I knew once they had the opportunity to get rid of me, they were going to take it.
Well, that actually brings me to my next question. So you were ultimately banished, but were you surprised it was a unanimous vote? You didn't seem to be very shocked.
I wasn't shocked. I wasn't shocked because I didn't think Safari would vote against New York. I had just put Larsa up on my hit list the week prior, and Wes wanted me gone. So I wasn't surprised. And that is why, um, when Joel said you have an hour to collect votes, I wasn't gonna waste my time because I already knew none of these people here are going to keep me here. I'm
Right.
going to beat them in the end. So it's okay. I get it. It's a power move, it's a power play. Do what you need to do for your game. Obviously, for me, it's like sucks because like I don't want to leave. But nonetheless, I understand. I get the game. It's a game. I understand.
You brought up that hour that you had to kind of try to get some votes, whatever. You broke down and became emotional when realizing that there was likely a chance that you were going to go home, and you said you needed the prize money to help your mother. After emotional reaction, do you think that Jesse felt guilty?
Oh, well, here's the thing. Jesse felt guilty once we walked out of the hitless nominations. He felt like an asshole. He instantly regretted his decision. He was crying.
He looked very
Um,
emotional too.
and
Yeah.
I was very emotional because it wasn't that I was leaving. Because at the end of the day, it's a game, and I'm gonna leave. Whatever, it's fine. I knew that in the reality, the real winner here is me. I slayed the game. I was mostly hurt because I felt like walking into House of Villains, I was very scared about the friends that I was gonna make because I was gonna be around people who, being on Drag Race, we all come from the same, you know, uh, uh, queer
World.
lifestyle.
Yeah,
Being
yeah,
in
yeah.
House of Villains, that's not the case. So I was very terrified about the friends I was gonna make. And although I made amazing friends with the crew and the network and the cast, and me and Jesse made a genuine friendship, and like we genuinely had each other's back. So I was mostly hurt because I was like, "Wow, you really just betrayed me." And we have our guards up in the house because it's House of Villains, and you never know who's truly your friend. You never know whose gameplay, like what they're doing. But we had a genuine friendship. So when he betrayed me, I was like really hurt. I was like, "Damn, you really like." You okay? I get being afraid of me getting to the finale, but there are still two more, like technically two more challenges before we get to the finale. You ripping the opportunity away from me, it's such a fucked up thing to do. But I get it. You saw the opportunity and you
Yes.
took it. I can't be mad at the gameplay. Listen, I understand.
No, for sure. I like that you pointed that out, by the way, that you said almost like you get it, it hurt, but you get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'd be a fool to sit here and not think to myself, well, duh, why wouldn't you get rid of the biggest competitor? I get it.
Yes, yes. And you mentioned this, and I don't disagree. You said if you hadn't been put on the hit list and you hadn't been sent home, you think that you would you think you would have taken it all?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Here's the thing. Here's a little tea that people don't know. So
Love tea.
every time someone would get eliminated and go home, I would always make sure I was checking up on them. I was texting them or sending them a message on Instagram, making sure that they're good. But at the same time, I knew if the finale is like season one, we're going to have a jury vote, and I would like to have the jury on my
Yes.
side. Wes caught wind of that. So Wes already knew my gameplay. And in that moment, he knew if I was making this a finale, I'm gonna win the jury vote. So he needs to get rid of me.
Wow. That's interesting. That's interesting. And that actually brings to my next question. So you got to return with all the other banished cast members to watch the next challenge, and you will get to vote. Well, we'll see how you voted on the ultimate hit list and a jury vote. What was that experience like to get to come back and kind of, be on the other side of things so quickly too?
Yeah, no, literally, I got eliminated on a Friday and I came back on a Saturday. The
Oh
good
my
thing about
God.
it is I got to go out on a Friday night. I went out to WeHo, had a lovely time, decompressed from my elimination, and come back the very next day. And it was nice. Honestly, there was no pressure to be in the competition because I was already gone. So I was just there with the other eliminated villains, and it just felt good. We kind of got to be assholes to the villains that were still left there, but it was just all fun and games. And it was just finally nice to see other people fight with each other about still being in the game, Wes and Jessie. But it was definitely nice to be back in the house, not competing.
A different perspective for sure, I'm assuming.
Oh, 100%, a hundred
Yeah.
percent.
Yeah. How would you compare your experience on House of Villains to appearing on RuPaul's Drag Race and All Stars?
Oh my God. It's so different. On House of Villains, we are in a house. And we are filming, I mean, pretty much 24 hours, because even when the cameras wrap, we still have hidden cameras in the house. There's microphones in the house, so there's not much privacy. Um, and on Drag Race, we're on the set from 9 a.m. to like 9 p.m. Um, and I would say this is a bit more fun because on Drag Race, you're very stressed out. There's a lot of work that goes into it. You have all the looks that you have to prepare. And it's a very intense workroom. But in House of Villains, although it is intense and although you do have your guard up because you never know who's gonna backstab you, it's such a fun game. It's so fun because it's so campy. And while there is drama, we're not taking ourselves too serious. Which I think is just like the fun in reality TV.
Some reality TV, like Drag Race, like some other shows, get like so intense.
Yes,
So
yes, yes, yes.
intense. Yeah. Who from the Drag Race universe do you think would make a good villain and do well on House of Villains?
I think that the next Drag Race queen that has to be in House of Villains has to be for me is Gia Gunn, honestly. If anyone watched Gia Gunn on All Stars 4, you know that she was a menace and she was there to cause chaos. And she's fun. She's a fun girl. So I would love to see Gia Gunn. But you know what? I would love to see Kandy Muse back on season 3.
See, I was going to
Right
ask you that.
now.
I was going to add to that. New York came back, so I'm assuming you'd want to come back again if you had the opportunity.
Absolutely. I feel so robbed of my opportunity. I'm like, I have to come back. You could bring me back like mid-season to like shake the game up.
What would you have done differently if you can just say a few things? Like if you were to go back.
If I can go back, I would absolutely put Wes up on my hit list when he gave me the fake immunity letter. Because I think that if Wes was up on the hit list, he would have definitely been eliminated, and he wouldn't have messed up my game, moving along in the competition the way he did. Because essentially, I wasn't gonna go home until he got in Jesse's ear. So if Wes wasn't there, I would still be in the competition and I would win.
What will you ultimately take away from this experience?
Oh my God. House of Villains, I made amazing friends. It was such a fun experience. It's so different from Drag Race. Even watching the show back, it's so fun. And I really made some really great friendships. And again, the it was just so it's so stupid. Like we're being so silly in the house. And the show in itself was so fun to film. Um, because there was nothing to lose. The great thing about being in the House of Villains was that we were all villains. No one was
Yes.
afraid of being meaner than anyone else because we were all assholes. We were all villains. We were all just there to have a good time.